you grow up?
Well, hey everybody. I was born in Denver, but I moved around a lot as a kid. My dad's job just took us different places.
Okay.
So I lived in, then I lived in California, and then I lived in Colorado, or then I lived in Connecticut. I pretty much grew up in Connecticut.
Okay.
Then I went to high school in Atlanta.
A lot of traveling.
Yeah. And then I left home to go to college. So and I went to IU.
Yeah, and you met your wife at IU.
I did.
Was she a music major?
She was in the she was a dancer and is a dancer.
Okay.
So she was in the ballet school, which is part of the music school.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But we were both such nerds that even though we were right next to each other, we didn't ever see each other. She was always in the dance studio, and I was always in the practice room. So.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
It turns out we were, in the end, able to spend a lot of time together. So that was 26 years ago. So,
given what you've been able to accomplish in a relatively short amount of time, you're just in your 40s. You're a young guy. At what age did you acquire your passion, your love for music?
Yeah. Well, it was after acquiring a hatred for piano, so for sure. Which is kind of a. I mean, oh man, I hated piano lessons so much. I mean, I still kind of do. I mean, I never was like, oh, now I love piano lessons. No. It was a family rule. None of my family is musical. Everybody's, even my extended family. I don't have any I have like hobbyist aunts and things that like played the piano and enjoyed it. But music was only part of my early life because it was just a family rule. It was more like about discipline than anything.
Yeah.
It was just a well-rounded gentleman should learn how to, read his hymns,
Yes. So you are a well-rounded gentleman. Should we ask your wife about that?
The attempt was made. The attempt was made.
Okay.
But I didn't, to answer your question finally, like, I didn't really develop any sort of affection for music until I realized I could make it myself. And then that's when everything changed.
Well, I was going to ask about that. When was that realization? How did it happen?
I was about 9, I would say. But again, like, I super duper hated piano lessons. So it was like, it's just, that's when the spark really started, where I was like, I would go in and I would start to fiddle. Like, I would kind of figure out with my ear, like, songs that I knew, like from the radio or whatever. But then there was this kind of feeling where, maybe I'll just write a little, or I'll smush these two ideas together that I kind of stole, and I'll make a new thing. And, which is still what I do, basically. So, but I was very, very fortunate to have an amazing first piano teacher. She wasn't an amazing musician, quote unquote. She was my elementary school music teacher, and she was just a neighborhood piano teacher as well. Her name was Eleanor Vavona, and she was so rad because she recognized that I had this thirst to, there was a thirst there somewhere. Yes, she was teaching me piano, but there was, and when I said, I feel like, he should have written it like this, she didn't say, well, too bad, so sad. She didn't she said, that's a cool idea. Let's do it both ways, So she didn't, I still had to learn it the way it was written, but then she really encouraged me to, and then she helped me notate my first composition, and then it was like, and then my family was really supportive, so I was able to pretty quickly find like a much more intense
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah, yeah. So your music teacher was really your first collaboration, 'cause that's my next question.
Yeah.
Son Lux.
But bless her heart, she like bought me like these books for like if you have an electronic keyboard, what you can do, and like find a setting that like and like I'm just thinking about like this awesome like older woman like was teaching this little kid, and like she didn't know anything like about what would. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's just so cool. And looking back, I'm like, she did everything she could to like.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff that mattered. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Well, she cared about you too.
She did.
That's a mark of a
She
good
cared
teacher.
enough to tell my mom she couldn't teach me anymore. which I mean she could have she could have had a star
teacher.
she could have had a star student and just kept collecting that cash, and then like
That's
oh, this kid's
impressive.
easy, like, oh yeah, this is fun, because it's
Yeah.
going to be better and cooler music. But no,
Yeah.
instead she was like, you need to give him a real teacher.
Yeah, and that's impressive
really
on her
cool.
part. Son Lux started as a solo project for you. How did you decide? You have two bandmates now with you. Why don't you share a little bit about them? And what's the collaboration like with the three of you on a project?
Yeah, so it began as a solo project. The band, which is Son Lux, or depending on where you are in the world, you can pronounce it different ways. But basically it developed enough momentum that I was able to start to consider touring. And touring was so expensive, still is. It's like a total money loser. But it's also kind of a necessary part of developing. If you're going to be a performing and recording band, you sort of just need to bite the bullet and make an investment at least a season of touring, like a multi-year season of touring. And I was just fortunate enough to get to a point with the project, and by the time, and it was really by my fifth or sixth release. It was my third. I did 3 solo albums and 3 solo EPs, and it was only then that I had enough kind of momentum at a certain place in the world where I could, go and perform. And so the original idea was to just create a band that could go out with me. And to realize the music for the stage. And what happened is I fell in love with these guys.
Yeah.
It was like immediately, like we just had, something like a brotherhood where not only did I see the potential for the project in our collective hands, far exceeded what I knew as I was going to be able to do solo. Like it was just like, so it was kind of a selfish decision, because I was like, well, if I've got these guys, it's just going to be better. Like the music's going to get better. I'm going to learn so much from these guys. We're going to be able to like kick butt on stage and make music that I myself couldn't imagine, but I know I'll love it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and that happened like immediately. It was like that now, and to me, that was another thing. It's like, I really, really did not like performing my whole life. Like I hated recitals. I was just like, it was like, I loved to make music, but I never liked to play music in front of
So
anyone.
you are much more comfortable in the studio.
I am. I
doing
still
now.
am. But for the very first time, in the context of performing with these guys, I loved performing. And, at that time I was, okay, so like if I started when I was, at that time I was like, 30 or 25 to 30 years into making music, and I finally suddenly loved to like perform. I took notice, basically. I was like, okay, this means something. And I felt myself changing as a musician. And so then it was like, okay, this is a family affair.
Awesome. Awesome. I have to ask, how did the opportunity come to you and your band to score A24's Everything Everywhere All at Once? How many have seen that film when it came out? First of all, what was the script like when you first read it?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, so they came. The best part about getting invited to be a part of this project was that they didn't know that I had a lot of scoring experience. They came to us because they loved Son Lux records. and they saw in our music a type of multiverse, a prismatic display of influences. And they also saw in us as a small little community, a multiversal, multicultural band. My drummer he grew up in Hong Kong and then he lived in the United States. He lives in Mexico now. And my guitarist Rafik Bhatia, he's in New York, but his family comes through Africa from India. So we're a colorful bunch. And the Daniels, who made Everything Everywhere All at Once, are also themselves a sort of cross, multi-dimensional kind of pair. And I think they saw some kinship with us in that sense, which we sensed right away.
Yes.
They were not interested in Ryan Lott, who leads this band. They were interested in all of us.
Yes.
And they really loved Rafik's music. They loved Ian's solo music, and they loved my solo music too.
Yes.
But it was like really they saw like, oh, we can get more for our bang for a buck for what this movie is going to need.
Right.
And then to answer your question about the script, well, and the reason why I really it means so much to me that they invited us to be part of the film, because not based on our like there was no like, you know, CV, there was no like resume that showed, oh, we could score a movie. There's none of that. Although it did exist, they just didn't care. What they went for was the things that we were making out of our own hearts, you know, which means that from its inception, it was about it was about us being ourselves, you know. And we came to discover that we were the first people hired for the movie, which is really rare for when you score a movie. It's like usually you're like way toward the end. You're part of the post-production process. You're not part of the production process, let alone the pre-production process. So to have a sort of formative influence on, and to also glimpse, and this is where I'm making a segue to the script, to glimpse like the very earliest ideas of the film and to be a part of helping shape them into this thing is like, for composers, is like, dude, it just doesn't happen. It's just completely rare. So the script, the script the first script we got, I honestly thought my file was corrupted because, you know, like a PDF, like you read it and you virtually flip the page, and time again, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this doesn't make sense that this comes after this. Like, and I was like, I think it's all jumbled up or something. Like, and I so vividly remember a conversation with the guys. I'm like, guys, have you started reading this? And Rafik, they're smarter than me. So like Rafik was like, he's like, oh my God, it's so funny. I could not put it down. I was like, and I was like, what? It's like, I think I got a different file. Like I just like, and I was like talking to them, and they were like started talking about all the things that are connecting and meaning and all stuff. And I'm like, I'm not getting it, honestly.
Yes.
And now, in my defense, if they had made that movie, it would have been a 4.5-hour movie. There were so many subplots and things like that. There were whole characters. There was a whole character called Spaghetti Baby Noodle Boy, and his mom. There was a whole different character played by Michelle Yeoh. She also existed, and this is relevant for our present surroundings. She also existed in that early version of the film as of an urn of her own ashes that talked. So I'm serious. So it's there was a lot. So there was a lot going on. I mean, as dense and as wild as that movie was, I mean, it really would have. I mean, it would have done. I think it would have done nothing. Yes. Like it would have made. Like it just wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have had the impact. I think it ultimately was distilled into a film that is at the limits of a lot of people's like ability, but still really hits home like in an emotional way for a lot of people.
So
not for everyone.
So what is the creative process, collaboration process when you try to score a film like that? I know we don't have that much time.
Yeah.
How do you handle everything you've done?
It can function in different ways. Some people like to what I really love to do is world build. So I like to actually work off picture, meaning like I'm not looking at like there's a creative brief, right? And like you look at photography, you look at costume designs. You look at like the kind of art direction that they're going to go for, and you have conceptual meetings with the filmmakers and stuff. But I like to like just really quote unquote close my eyes and start to create the world in which the sonic world in which the story takes place.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I am scoring to picture, and that's a very technical and rigorous process where you're constantly chasing changes in the edit, and you have to be able to create in an environment that allows you essentially infinite flexibility to continue to support the picture as it's changing.
Yeah.
And it's not just like it's like it can change in so many ways. Like it can be like, oh, the mood of this needs to change, or like the timing of this needs to change, or all of it needs to change, or this cue over here should be here and it should just be its faster tempo. Like there's so many different things, and that's part of the challenge of film scoring is it's just it's quite technical, and so if you can really get lost in that, you know, and like lose. That's why I love to world build, because if you can kind of world build and get like eyes closed, like big blue sky dream, you know, like get that stuff ingrained into the project, so that when you get into the weeds of it all and you start to hate life, the material that you're working with, the DNA of it is still full of soul.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. It's a very fluid process too.
It's extremely fluid.
Yeah, we at the Garden know about being fluid and going with the flow, right, people? We're at a funeral home now. Yeah. So what was it like? This is pretty heady. You're Oscar nominated, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How did you hear, and I mean, you're the first person I've met that's Oscar nominated. And how did you feel?
Honestly, so I knew we were going to do well. By the time the Oscars roll around, we had like a ton of great word of mouth that spiraled into like BAFTA. All kinds of awards and stuff. By the time the Oscars rolled around, it was already the most award-winning film of all time. Yeah, which is crazy.
Amazing.
Like
That's amazing.
It picked up so many awards across so many disciplines. And so we knew it was going to do well. You know, it's also like, you know, it's not like it's some pure process. Like it is a popularity contest. You know what I mean? It's like there's plenty of people who should have been nominated for Oscars that weren't. Yeah. You know, there's plenty of people who won Oscars who should not have. It's not some, you know.
True.
It's you know, it's really, really, really good for my career. But I definitely like it's not. I don't see it as a measure. Like for me, the most encouraging thing is that there was a moment in time in which the Academy could go out on a whim and support a wildly creative, like out there movie that I think gives permission for creativity to a lot of people that don't get a lot of permission from the powers that be to be themselves and to do things in new ways and stuff. I think for a lot of young people, I think this is the kind of movie that will kind of like, you know, go away and then as new films start to come from a younger generation, you're going to, time and time again, you're going to hear in interviews like about the formative influence of everything. I know it. And I know it. Like, and you can already, like, whenever you like hear from like film, like kids going to film school, young kids going to film school, or like inspired to go to film school and stuff, it's already part of the cultural ethos of like the thrust of that profession, which is such an incredible honor. Yeah. So I didn't set my alarm because because I knew it was going to do well. It was my birthday.
Oh, is that right? My goodness. Yeah. Divine timing and divine ways, brother. I just see it.
Sorry, that snuck up on me. Yeah. That was crazy.
I bet it was. Especially because of that. Yeah. Has it opened?
Well, I just didn't think I would be nominated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I knew that and that's why I didn't set my alarm. It was like, oh, I'll just wake up and then like it'll be fun to like see like, oh, Michelle get nominated and like
you kind of thought
Jamie Lee
maybe
Curtis
Jamie
get
Curtis, they would
nominated,
probably do well.
You know, Key, you know, like the director, all the screenplay, all these like crazy, you know, editing.
Yeah.
Like you knew it because it was like, you know, all the above the line stuff, and we knew we were gonna get, because you know you get shortlisted and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And dude, I just like, it was not on my radar. Like, and I was nominated for 2 awards actually. I have 2 nominations because I'm also nominated for the Best Original Song. So I woke up to 2 Oscar nominations on my birthday. It was like, wow, what is going on? This is crazy.
And your wife said, "I'm proud of you, baby."
She's like, well, she's done that before. She's done that before.
She's here, by the way,
Another like cool moment where she hit me awake and she's like, "Ryan, they're talking about you on NPR." And that was on New Year's Day,
and not in a bad way.
2008. This time I think I slapped you awake. I'm like, shit. But I woke up to 50 texts, you know, so I knew something was like up, and I was like, wait, what? And like, and I had to go through them and like, and before it dawned on me, I like found a screenshot, and then it was just like, and then I found the other screenshot. I was like, this is, what? You know, it's crazy.
Well, you were beaming. Last night, I decided to get on YouTube and watched all the clips where the film was awarded, I think a couple years ago now. And Harrison Ford, I believe, announced Best Picture. And he announced your picture. And then I saw you and your bandmates up there, too, with all the cast and crew. And you guys had smiles so big. That had to be a surreal moment, being on that stage.
And the last person who said something to me on that stage was Harrison Ford, who turned around and shook my hand and he said, "Nice work, young man."
That's Harrison.
I mean, it was like, it was so many surreal things about that experience, as you can imagine.
So much about who you are, and I think with creativity in the arts, there's really a spirituality to it. I define it in a very broad-based way. How would you define your spirituality? We're very open and progressive here.
I mean, it's certainly, music helps me be really okay with something that I can't explain being essential and very real, you know, because that's what music is. So for me, like, I've always like really embraced things not having real clear answers, and not having like, I instead of feeling dismay like a lot of people do, and understandably so, when things don't seem to like really add up, when you're studying scriptures, or even like contemplating spiritual concepts, biblical concepts, when you're contemplating God. For me, as all the questions emerge and the confusion, I kind of love it. I love it. It because for me, that is reality transcending my ability to grasp it.
Absolutely.
Which is what happens every time I hear a piece of music that I love. It's like, it is, you can't explain it, you know, and yet it just takes over, you know, and to make music, to feel it come through you like that. I can't explain it. Like, there's no science. There's no science to it, you know. It's only spirit, you know. And it's almost like spirit is just seizing upon science to have its way. and I think that's kind of like, it's like, that's what I feel when you say, like, how do you define your own spirituality? It's like everything we see, everything we do and everything that we experience is like, it's the spirit seizing upon our physical realm to have its way. That's kind of how I feel, So of course I'm just caught up in the mix,
Yeah.
And I feel, and people talk about like being in the flow and like feeling and like, feeling the Holy Spirit, feeling the flow of the Holy Spirit. And it's so, to me, it's like, that's the act of creativity, of creating. It's like, you're participating in the divine nature. You are like, you are like, God is creative.
Yeah.
God creates.
Yeah.
And so to participate in the flow of that creativity is to feel God.
Yeah.
Is to participate in what God does.
Yes. It's been said that to love and be loved is our greatest purpose. I would say the second greatest purpose is to inspire and be inspired. So I do want to ask, as a last question, who or what inspires you, both as an artist, but also just as a human being, too?
Well, my family does.
Yeah.
I love you. And Remy,
Yeah. I've met Remy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like I'm so addicted to making music that like I basically don't want to do anything else. And the one thing that I when I'm making music, the one thing that I do like kind of yearn to do next for sure is to be with my family.
Yeah.
And so I think without that yin and yang, like it'd be hard to imagine like life,
Yeah.
But I get a lot of inspiration from other art, and in particular, I get a lot of musical ideas from dance. And I think I have Jen to thank for that too, because she got me into both writing music for dance, but also experiencing a lot of dance.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why that happens in my brain, but it really does. Like when I go see dance, I have
Lose yourself in it.
yeah. Well, I don't know what it is, but it triggers musical ideas. So
Yes.
I definitely look to other music, of course. So like, I know that I'm participating in a thing that is like is a very human and global thing. I'm not some like, as you said, visionary composer. It's not really what I think of myself as. I think of myself as just like participating in this incredibly rad thing called music. Like it's just like I'm plugging in,
Yes.
And even more broadly, I'm plugging into this amazing thing called art, where I'm what we call art, or can we call it that? I don't know. It's like weird. It's like it's a much bigger and broader thing. And so I don't even know where we started with the question by now, but
Well, I know how we're going to end. I'm going to say, good job, young man.
thank you,
Give it up
Harrison.
for Ryan Lott, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Come on down.